Hey guys, it's Andrea from the blog Pine and Prospect Home, and today I thought I would share some shelf styling tips with you guys. So last weekend I sort of had the urge to clean my entire house. My husband was so sweet. We sort of deep cleaned everything, washed all the cushion covers and slip covers, dusted, vacuumed, and I got this crazy urge to paint my dining room, which came out of nowhere. I've been wanting to brighten it up for some time, and I finally did it. And so I finished painting yesterday. My body is feeling it for sure. I probably pushed myself a little bit too hard, to be honest, but it's all done with now, and you can see this top color is much brighter. I actually chose to go with the same color as my living room. I have to grab the color for you guys. No, I can't remember what it is. Swiss Coffee is the name of it. Swiss Coffee. It's just this creamy white color, and I feel like it's brightened up the room, and I absolutely love it. But obviously I had to take everything off of my shelves in order to paint. You might have noticed that the dresser is gone as well, my grandpa's dresser. I'm currently trying to brighten it up a little bit more, so it's in the basement. Not a lot. I don't want it to be raw wood or anything like that. I just wanted to lighten up some of those red undertones that were still happening in the dresser. So anyways, I'm still in the process of putting my dining room back together. We actually have to paint the ceilings in here still. My husband and I both agreed that it really needs to be done, just like it needed to be done in the living room. But back to the shelves. So I was putting everything back on them this morning, and I thought, I should record myself doing this and then create a YouTube video and sort of share some of my tips with you guys. Alright, so the first thing that I would consider whenever you're styling shelves is your color palette. In my case, I chose to stick with whites, blues, and then I have wood accents as well. So in my case, I have two shelves on one side of the mirror and two shelves on the other side of the mirror. And so I want each side, while they're different, to still feel cohesive. And so that is the first thing that I do whenever I'm styling shelves, is to consider the colors that I'm using. So some of the things that I like to collect are white false graph pieces from the Heritage collection. I like to collect the older pieces, and I have a whole video all about that if you want to check it out. And then I also enjoy collecting beautiful glass pitchers. I just think they are really pretty. Another thing that I like to collect are the blue and white Currier and Ives dishes. Right now I just have the teacups and saucers, but I also have a cream and sugar and a few other pieces as well. And then of course, I love anything that's vintage and wood. I have a lot of different things on my shelves, from cutting boards to tenderizers that are just vintage things that I've picked up at thrift stores over the years. So those are some of the things that I keep an eye out for whenever I'm thrifting, and I've sort of stayed within that color palette for my shelves. So the next thing that I like to do whenever I am decorating and styling shelves is to group similar items. So for whatever reason, your piece will have a much greater impact if it's grouped together with items that are similar to it. So one thing that you might notice is that I'm grouping together glass pieces, just because together they make a bigger statement. Same with the false graph. I like to group false graph, the white false graph pieces together, and so on and so forth. So whenever you're thrifting for pieces, it's good to sort of start little collections of things, because really when you group them together on a shelf or in a display cabinet, they make such a beautiful impact when they are all together, as opposed to a bunch of little different things that can be distracting and might feel busy as well. So that's my second tip for you guys. I think the reason why my shelves, even though they have a lot on them, don't feel super busy, because It's a lot of similar groupings and similar colors. The last thing that I try to consider whenever I am styling shelves is balance. Balance is so important. And if you've been watching me decorate these shelves, one of the things that I try to do is to balance everything out. So, for example, if I have a grouping of glass pitchers on one side of my mirrors, I want to put, so you can see these ended up here, I want to sort of balance those out by not being so symmetrical to where they're exactly across from each other, but you can see that I have a similar grouping of glass pitchers on the second shelf down on this side of the mirror, and the two balance each other out. And then I did the same thing with the false graph. I have some larger false graph pieces here on these far shelves. I don't know if you can see them there. And then over here, I did the same thing, and you sort of have this like X situation happening. I'm sure there's like a fancy term for it when it comes to interior design. But I just feel that each grouping of items sort of balances the other out. So now, in my case, I sort of had to get creative because over on this far shelf, we have two things that I like to try to hide. One is a thermostat, and so it's not the prettiest thing, and I try to sort of hide that with some dishes. And then right above that is the doorbell. So, which doesn't even work anymore, so we should probably just get rid of it. And so I try to hide that on the top shelf as well with some items. So what I originally had been playing around with, I had to sort of switch everything in order to play around and hide those things. So you can get creative. And the process of styling takes time. Don't expect it to go quickly. For me, whenever I'm decorating anything, it takes me a lot of time. I like to step back and look at it, play around with things. Don't be afraid to play and move things around. Sometimes you just have to leave the room and then come back and get a fresh look. So it takes me quite a while to play with these shelves whenever I'm styling them, but I feel like right now I'm sort of happy with where they are. One thing that I will end with that I think is important is to maybe add a touch of green to your shelves and or display cabinet or whatever it is that you are styling. Sometimes whenever you step back and you think, man, something is missing, I can't put my finger on it, it just feels sort of dead, it needs some life, you'll be amazed at what a little bit of green can do. And so spring is around the corner. We still have snow on the ground, although it is beautiful and sunny today. I've just been loving it. But I decided to put a little bit of green, faux greens, in a pot or some pottery up here and then down here. So again, they kind of are across from each other. And I think it just added some life, and I'm really loving the way that those two pops of green look. So anyways, I hope these tips helped you guys. I'm sure there are many more things to consider whenever you're styling shelves, but thrift store items especially. Whenever you are thrifting, try to restrain yourself from purchasing every little thing that might be cute. I used to do that and I ended up having just too much stuff. I had to get rid of a lot of it. Now I try to be very purposeful whenever I'm purchasing things. I think about the color palette, I think about the wood tones. I really like to look for specific items like, you know, false graph or beautiful glassware. And so maybe keep that in mind next time you go thrifting. I am overdue for a good thrifting trip. I really would like to go here soon. I haven't been since, I think, before Christmas. So I'm sort of itching to get out of the house and go take a look around. But I thought I would share these tips with you guys. I hope they were helpful. And If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. As always, there will be a blog post with these tips as well, so you can head over there and pin it, save it for later, refer back to it, and I will talk to you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. If you are new here, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.